GM, it's Chris. And if you have been trying to make money online and you've tried different online business models, then I can surely say that most of them are a scam, but here's what works instead. So that's kind of like the topic of this video, and how business models are kind of like a scam, but how online business models are not a scam at the same time. And I know this doesn't make any sense. And to shed some light on this, I would just go through my own story, my own experience of doing this online business thing, making money online with the ups and downs and everything. And what I learned from a crazy Italian guy, right? When following a business mentor, and kind of like where we are today and what really actually works without all of the BS, right? Because a lot of people, especially if you just look at make money online, like there's, oh, yeah, it's crazy. Uh, Anyways, so I have been doing a ton of different stuff during the years of online business, right? So I started out with content creation essentially and doing like self-publishing ebooks. I've been a freelancer, I've been a coach, I've done blogging and a lot of different stuff in between as well. And it's been quite a journey, quite a ride, so to say. So how does everything tie together in this? So what I want to begin with is that business mentors, because I go back to this all the time. If at any time that I have been following a business mentor or some kind of online course or something like that, that has kind of worked out for me. And anytime that I have strayed from the path or not followed a business mentor's advice or like what they're laid out in a program or something like that, always there's a lot of problems. I mess the stuff up. It takes a lot of time until I figure out kind of like what they were trying to teach from the start. So it might speak against what I just said about business models being a scam, but hear me out. So anytime I followed a mentor, it has worked out and I've made money, right? There was this Italian guy, crazy Italian guy. I can't really remember exactly what he was named, but it was something like Luca and was teaching stuff about publishing and stuff like that. And I followed his advice to the T. I bought his program. I don't remember how much it was at that time. It was a 500 bucks or like 800 bucks or like 1K, something like that. And I made all of that money back. And at the best of times, the best month for me was 12K that I earned in, which was nice. And I was just like, oh, holy shit, this actually works. It was easier than I thought. Until it went crash and burn and just died, right? I'm like, what is going on, right? Here I am making all this money. I feel like an entrepreneur. I've made it online. And then bleh, it just died like a flash in the pan, right? So that was my experience. And as a good kind of like new entrepreneur in the space. I'm like, okay, let's just try out the next thing, right? And then the next thing, and I tried the next thing. I jumped into affiliate marketing and I jumped into blogging. Kind of made that work as well. I made some good money out of blogging as well. It allowed me to quit my job actually as an engineer. But there came a point where that also just went straight down the drains, mainly because of myself, because just to give some details on that, like blogging has evolved during the times, right? It's not the same as it was before. Lo and behold, right? Most people and the attention spans are on social media. That's where everyone is spending their time. If you just go out the your house or you go down to the store or you go down to buy some groceries and just look at people and you will observe that everyone just goes with a phone in the hand. They just look at it. The smallest little distraction, or if you are in a queue to buy groceries, for example, you will see that people, what do they do the millisecond that they get bored or just like have to wait or they just need to think, right? They pull up the phone and just start looking at it and scrolling Instagram and X and Twitter and TikTok. So the attention is there, and that's where a lot of people should go if they want to get traffic and get attention, right? And that's what I help clients with as well with paid advertising. I think that's the easiest part. Organic is great. It has so much leverage, but it takes so long time. A little bit of luck involved as well, a lot of skill, a lot of experimentation, a lot of being consistent with it. So online business models being a scam. So every time I have followed a business mentor, And I'm not saying that you need to work with me or you should work with me, but shameless plug, if you want to, I have a link below. But the thing is that business models in itself, I think, do not work. So that's not the thing. Because yes, every time I followed the mentor, I made money. Yes, every time I tried a business model, I kind of like made money, but it was not a long lasting endeavor. It was not something that withstands the ebbs of time and just all of the craziness that is going on in the world. It just doesn't happen. At the best, if you make an online business model work, then that will just be a flash in the pan or it will just be temporary and it will die out. And then you essentially spent all of this time doing this business model, building it up, thinking it is your business, just for it to die. That's the straight facts, and I am kind of relieved just to go out and say it because I don't think a lot of people say this or even mention this because they have an agenda, they want to drive their online course sales or the business model of their choice. But there are some things which do work, essentially, which is pretty much if you just dig a layer deeper behind each business model and what makes it tick. And that is where the true essence and the true lasting skills, which will help you to make money for forever, lies. So here's the thing. When I look back at my blogging days and my publishing days and all of the different stuff I've done, affiliate marketing and freelancing and coaching, there are just four key things which has essentially allowed me to always make money and are the backbone on everything. And that's what I'm leaning in on a lot, like 100% right now. And that is first, knowledge. You need some kind of knowledge about the thing you're supposed to do, right? And a counter argument that a lot of people have is like, oh, but Chris, you can just go and learn everything on YouTube. Everything is free. Yeah, it is. But do you remember how I told you that if you follow a mentor's advice and the way they have laid out a program, they have done that for a specific reason. It's because they have already spent a ton of time, years, experience to trying to steer people away from the pitfalls and actually just here are the things you actually need to do in order to get this to work. And as I said, every time I have strayed from the path or I've strayed from the thing that is laid out for me, it has always been a slog. It's always been filled with problems, with roadblocks. It has never gone well for me until I just strayed back and just like, oh, that's what he meant. But the thing is that I believe that we don't have the specific awareness level of the mentor at that time in order to understand what they say. So that's why repetition is king and going over the material again and again and again. And that's the same thing with a book as well. Like I have a ton of good business books that I love to read and reread. And the reason I reread them once a year, for example, MJ DeMarco's The Millionaire Fastlane, a fantastic book or just like Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week as well, even though it's so dated, but it's really good. And the thing is that every time that you go through the material again and again, you learn something new. There is a new insight, a new nugget that just finally clicks in your mind because your awareness level has elevated just a step. And then you can absorb and take in that information, which you couldn't really do before and you just skim through it. You didn't see like the golden nuggets, right? So that's why I reread or re-go through certain programs at certain times during the year because it helps a lot for me to find new insights and it's like, oh, so that's what they mean. Oh, now I can apply it to my business, right? So one is knowledge for sure. And if you think you can just like follow YouTube videos, forget it because everything is scattered. And if you learn from different business mentors as well and you consider like 5 or 10 like oh I follow all of these guys like Alex Hormozi and blah blah blah, I'm so sorry but everyone has a fundamental different beliefs. They had a fundamental different path to get to where they are, which means that you will just follow advice from different mentors which has most of the time, I would say 99% of the time, conflicting beliefs. And one says you do this, and the other says no, that does not work. You do this, and they just like thug of war. So your mind just splits. It doesn't work. So knowledge is the first thing, and just actually follow someone who has done what you want to do, or just like are a few steps behind, or they just have the experience to back it up. Next thing is marketing. And the third thing is sales. Because regardless of the business model, regardless of what you are selling or how you're creating value for the world, it always comes back to just two things: marketing and sales. Marketing is, hey, I exist. Hey, here is the place. Hey, I have this thing. Hello, here I am. That's marketing, essentially letting people know that you exist. That's it. And sales, a sales process is taking that attention, taking that people who now saw you, like, oh, hey, you exist. And then here, I have something of value that might help you. Would you like to buy it? That is marketing and sales in an extremely broad stroke nutshell, right? Marketing and sales. And every single business model online and every single transaction, every single value exchange, which is someone giving money for a service or a product, is marketing and sales. And you can't go without them. So that is why knowledge, marketing, and sales are the three most fundamental things. So if you were doing a business model right now, I want to save you some time. And here's the thing: in this component, what is the marketing and the sales part of this course? Because sure, you can learn the mindset stuff, and mindset is really important, especially if you're a new entrepreneur and even existing entrepreneur. Like, mindset is truly everything. I truly believe it. And without it, you will also fail for sure. But you need to understand marketing and sales at the end of the day. So it doesn't matter if you do copywriting, which I am a copywriter. That's my main profession. Even if you are an e-com, even if you are, let's say, social media manager or anything, or AI, like an AI chatbot creator or, an AI programmer, you can be the best at this skill, right? Which is the fourth part, skill. But if people don't know that you have the skill, or if people don't know that you have the product, and you can't convey the value of that product, you can't convey to people so they understand in simple terms with benefits and how it solves a problem, sales, so that they can give you money. Without those two things, everything always fails. So if you are building a foundation or on a foundation which doesn't involve marketing and sales to a very high degree, like you're essentially learning marketing and sales, then that is a business model that I would consider a scam. Or it's not a scam, it will most likely make you some money. Will it make you life-changing money? Will it make you money so that you can quit your job? No, it won't. And if it does, it will just come, crash, and burn down the ground, and you have to go and apply for a job again. So marketing, sales, so knowledge, marketing, sales, and the skill that is valuable and helps other businesses to make more money. Because at the end of the day, what is a business? A business is something that generates revenue, that generates profit. How do they generate profit? By selling something or doing something for someone, like a product or a service or some kind of value exchange where people give money for something and they get something in return which they perceive as valuable. So if you are really good at a skill, or if you are hiding behind your computer or hiding behind the text post and you're just working on your skill, and you're just like, oh, I'm so good at this thing, but why am I not making money? That's the reason why. Marketing, sales, and the lack of knowledge to back up the skill. Because I can go down and I can take a random barber here in the country where I live, and I can make them more money because I am a copywriter. Because a copywriter is essentially understanding human psychology, marketing, and sales. Human psychology and copywriting ties into marketing and sales in everything. Like even in AI prompting, it's marketing and sales if you want to get people to do something. So that's why I can turn and help like a local business to make more money, because I understand marketing and sales. That's easy. And if you have the skill of marketing and sales, and you have the knowledge on how to do it, then you can be sure to believe that no matter which business model or which fad that comes or goes away, if you know those two skills, you will never go hungry. You will always have something to do. You will always have a task to do, someone to help, a business owner to make more money. your own business to make more money because you know marketing and sales. Because the entire world we live in an economy which is driven by economy, money, value exchange. So if you are right now doing some kind of business model, or you are doing something and you're like, ah man, crazy, I mean, this is not working out for me, I must lack something or whatever. Yeah, of course there's a lot of the human element that you're probably not doing the most leveraged tasks that you need to do. I have a separate video on that, on asymmetric gains. But at the end of the day, you're probably not focused a ton on the marketing and the sales part. And you know, marketing and sales becomes quite unfancy, quite boring, quite basic. Like, oh, okay, well, what? So I'm supposed to just like send 50 to 100 outreach messages a day and send DMs and emails, cold outreach. Yeah, that's essentially marketing. One part of it. Obviously, you have content, you have inbound and everything else, but that is also marketing. There's also persuading people to watch your content, to read your content, to consume your content. It's also, and you're paying with time instead of perhaps you just switching on a traffic source, which is ads, and then boom, it flows. You don't even need to spend years and years and years building something up just because it was free. No, even if content is free to make, you're paying with your time. And just comparing money, which is printed out of thin air in the US, and time, which you are born with for a certain amount, and depending on how you do, you're healthy, either have a little bit more time or you have a lot less time before you die. Which one is more valuable? Money that comes and goes, rent comes and goes every month, or time which you never get back. It just goes down and down and down and down. Time, right? So people think that content is free, but it's not. It's actually more expensive than anything else in marketing. But that's just kind of like a tangent point. So with this video, it's a bit longer than my usual videos, but I just wanted to convey, and just with some emotion and passion here, that if you're in a business model or if you're stuck in your business and you don't really know why you're progressing, why it's not growing, why you feel busy all the time and you can't really get this to work, and you know, the more you work, the less time you have, and essentially the less money you make as well. What is wrong? Well, traffic, so marketing, sales process, and in the sales process you have a conversion process, but I think that the sales and the conversion is the same thing. It's the same umbrella. And then value, so it's essentially traffic, it is sales, and it is value. Those three things. And the four things that really matter in any business is the knowledge, is the marketing, it is the sales, and the skill, which is the value. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you liked it, just subscribe to the channel if you want to learn more about copywriting, about business and stuff like that. And if you want to work with me, if you want my help, my guidance, my mentorship, or even just some other stuff, then just hit the link below. Let's work, let's talk. But yeah, I hope this was helpful. Bye.